All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast. Solo round time. Chris, how you doing today? You told me it was 100 degrees out there, right?
Yeah, it's Saturday here. What is it? The 9th? No, the 10th. It's hot, man. It's hot as hell over here.
You're not out there getting your tan on?
No, too hot for tanning. It's what you know what sounds good is a nice like refreshing beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drinking a Coke Zero right now. It's like really, really cold and refreshing, but a beer does sound good. So I might
Yeah,
have to do that later on today.
a Modelo with extra lime. Oof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds really good, actually.
Where's all my Modelo fans?
But no, it's really really hot over here too in Northern California. It's like right close to 100. So I mean, I feel you on that. Like it's supposed to be like a little heat wave this weekend and stuff. So hopefully it starts cooling down going into the week. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this show today, Chris, because and more importantly, it's because I want to talk about this topic about perfectionists and being like, a perfectionist and being indecisive when it comes to taking action as an entrepreneur, business owner, if you have goals, because you feel people are going to judge you, with like your content, your vision, your ideas that you have, right? And to me, it's just when people say that they're perfectionists and indecisive with stuff, I just really feel it's a cover up because they just don't want to take action because of all those things that I just mentioned about like the fear of criticism, comparison, the lack of support, everything, right?
Yeah. The way I kind of look at this with the whole content creation and the fear of kind of posting and putting yourself out there is I think everybody's trying to sit there and worry too much on creating their A plus work, and there is no such thing as A plus work when you create content and you put that out there on social media. You guys should be focusing on your B plus work because your B plus work could be serving so many people and changing their lives because again, there's no such thing as A plus work when it comes to content creation and social media, right? It's kind of a fantasy and it's all in your guys' head. It's just fear of not wanting to put that content out there and serve your audience. And I think it's selfish. I really do. It's selfish because if you have a following, people are counting on you to sit there and post that content, that value, right? Some people, if you believe it or not, are really depending on that to change like their day and really kind of motivate them. So it's super selfish for you to sit there and be like, look, I'm not putting this post out or I'm so fearful because I need it to be A plus work. Again, there's no such thing. So put your B plus work out there and serve your audience out there and impact their lives, educate them, inspire them and motivate them.
Yeah, and that's powerful. So you see, that's a powerful way to kick this show off and this discussion around this, this entire topic that I want to talk about today. And I wanted to say too, I want to talk about this because I just feel like this is such a big thing that's always, buzzing around with entrepreneurs and business owners and even fitness professionals that we work with, right? We hear this all the time, just about like, I'm a perfectionist, like I'm very indecisive. Like there's always an excuse for not taking action and getting shit done, right? And it's just, for me as the leader, the coach, the mentor, right? It's just, it does get frustrating, but it's like at the end of the day, I do understand where people are coming from because I was once there and I know you were once there, right?
Yeah.
So this is why I want to do a discussion around this topic. And after this, I even want to get into some stories and really give, the listeners like 10 different, action steps that they can do to overcome that fear of like putting content out there and taking action on what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, come on. Like, you remember like 10 years ago when we started doing like, our
Yeah.
YouTube videos, like we didn't know what the hell we were
Yeah.
doing. We were scared, like imposter syndrome, we felt we weren't competent enough. We definitely weren't confident enough at the time, but there was a point where we're just like that F it mode, right? Let's just put it out there. There's going to be people out there that are going to be negative. People aren't going to resonate with you. They're not going to relate with you. They're going to make fun of the brows. They're going to make fun of how many ums and uhs you say and all that, right? If you guys go back to our YouTube channel, like just go do it just for shits and giggles and a nice little laugh. If you're having a bad day, just go back and watch some of our videos from like 2010, 2011. You guys will laugh. Okay. It's a good little laugh, but you guys will see, you'll see the progression and the involvement. That's what it's all about. It's reps and sets, just like building your business, just like building your physique. It's reps and sets with the content game and putting it out on social media. That's all it is. There's no secret to it.
Yeah, and just more importantly, it's buying into that mindset that like, look, like I might be like a disaster right now, but then I can become a master. I'm not good yet. That's what you have to say is I'm not good yet, but I will at some point, right? With those sets and reps and just, continuously getting better at that craft and just honestly like not giving up on it.
Yeah, and I like that not yet, reframing your mindset.
Exactly.
Just like instead of like when you guys are like, I have to post content today. No, I get to post content. I get to post value. I get to impact one person's life out there and change the game for them. I get to somehow post a social media post and get a new prospect, a new lead into my program to further help them and transform their life.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it. And just small little like rephrasing and reframing those phrases in such a positive manner, right? Is every bit of difference. And it all comes down to your mindset and the attitude and the character that you have as a leader. And this is what I'm trying to say right now. And please listen to me on this, guys, that you have to reframe your mindset to be a producer in content, not a consumer, right? And I get it. We like to consume content. I like to consume content, but very, very little. And I'm very, very just, particular in terms of whose content I do consume because of my time. And I'm very self-aware that if I consume too much content, I get in my own head too, right? So I'm not perfect. I start, doing the whole criticism thing, the comparison thing, the self-doubt thing, the imposter syndrome thing. So 10 years into this, like I know my weaknesses, I know self-awareness, like little things like that will trigger things in me. So I'm very, very cautious about, my consumption when it comes to content. So please, really, the sooner you can get into that mode of like, I want to be the content producer, not the consumer, it will change the game for you and your outlook when you go into creating content.
Yeah. And just think about that, man. The producer, right? That's like almost like an analogy of being a producer for like a big Hollywood movie, right? Like just think about
TV show too.
like the privilege of doing that. And that's what I tell some of our students is like, this is such a privilege to have this thing in your hands. If you're listening, I'm holding up an iPhone right here, like an iPhone 11. How privileged are we to have an iPhone 11 with this video camera on here, this microphone on here, these social media platforms, all these apps out here that we can filter, make it look good. I mean, how privileged is that to be able to reach thousands to millions of people with this damn thing that I'm holding in my hand, and you guys have the right to sit there and say that I need to put out A+ work or polished work. You know how selfish that is. You know how privileged you are to have like an iPhone like that you can do that to reach thousands and millions of people. You know how privileged you are to have hundreds or even thousands of followers that are looking forward to your content, and you're too fearful to put it out and it's not good enough, and you have to compare yourself to somebody else that's putting out like better content, quote unquote. I mean, get over yourself, get over it. It's not about you. It's about the person on the other side that is consuming your content. That's who it's about.
Exactly. No, I mean, I just see it. I could tell, like, just like the fire right behind when you're saying that, because it's the fucking truth. Excuse my language, but I even said this yesterday to one of our students. Right, he was having trouble with this as well too, and he loved it. He loved how I called him out on it. Right, and that's my duty and job as his coach and mentor to identify that and push him. And I literally said that, like, look, you have to look at your piece of content to where you're putting this out because you're not trying to reach hundreds of thousands of people, right? You're just trying to reach that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people with that particular post that just hit them. And they're like, holy shit, like that spoke to me. That is a great piece of, advice. That is great value. Those are great action steps. That's a great story, whatever it is that you share, and it's just like that 1 or 2 people can turn into clients or buyers in your guys' coaching programs or your brand or whatever you guys sell, right? So you have to have that kind of mindset and intention towards, like, you're not trying to please everybody. You're just trying to sit there and get a couple people's attention with that particular post and topic, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. But that's the issue though, is because it's constant comparison. And I know because I was there one time,
Right.
I wanted to get thousands of likes. I wanted to get thousands
Exactly.
of comments on a post, but it doesn't happen that way. It takes time, and it's like you said, you're just trying to change 1 or 2 people, reach 1 or 2 people. If that's what it's going to take.
Exactly. And let's do, I want to talk a little bit about some stories here. So I'll share a story. Then if you have a story, Chris, that you can think of, then great. If not, no worries. But I remember too, when we first got into this, right? Like 10 years ago, right? So I even think about it now. I'm like, holy shit, like we've been creating content, doing videos, everything for a decade.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wow, like first out, where's the time go? And then I'm like, I'm actually proud of myself, right? Like, damn, that's pretty awesome. Like 10 years of, being dedicated to content creation and wanting to get better at different skill sets.
Right.
So take the listeners back 10 years ago when we started our business, Dynamic Duo Training, right? There wasn't a lot of social media. There wasn't a lot of good things like that we could do now, right? So no excuse, whatever. We still put, things into action and got shit done. So I remember we actually went to Fusion Fitness, right? So a local gym that we went to here, and we waited, guys. We waited till about like when this gym almost closed, the last hour. And we'd always go there like that last hour of the night, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And we'd have a bunch of videos to sit there and film, whether it was just like exercise tutorials or topics around training and nutrition, because we wanted the gym setting. And literally, I would go in there and I'd have so much anxiety and just so much fear, because if there was one or two people that looked at me while I was filming, I was like thrown off. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I still did it though. Right. And it took me so many times to just, get that perfect one, which it still wasn't perfect. It was shitty when I look back at it. But at that time, like, it was a win. And I was able to put that type of content out. Right. And it's funny now because I go back even to like our YouTube videos, and those little videos from 10 years ago have like literally like millions of views on these how-tos. So it's crazy now that we're actually monetizing, making money off YouTube in those videos. It's kind of cool to think about it. But again, like, my whole point in that story is that like I was there, right? I used every excuse to like, this isn't perfect. The gym's not perfect. The video's not perfect. The camera I have isn't perfect. The sound, the lighting, I'm going to mess up. There's people around. There's all these excuses and this huge wall for me to try to sit there and just hold me back. But at the end of the day, it's like, I didn't let it hold me back. I put it out there, and I understood that like, look, if I'm going to be dedicated to this, I have to sit there and get better and better at this craft.
Yeah, but like, what year did you sit there and like, you're like, okay, like my confidence is high now. Like my belief is high. My certainty's high. Like, I know I can produce really good content. Like, it doesn't phase me like anymore to put it out.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 to 3 years in, to
Okay.
be honest, because then you start kind of like, you learn, right? You start seeing what other people are doing. Like, obviously we started getting into like a mastermind at that point. I think that's when we got into Todd Durkin's, where it's like, you start getting advice, you start getting different tips, and like, you just start seeing like as things evolve too. I think that's when social media started coming out. So yeah, I mean, just, you get more confident as you go, again, it just went back to the reps and sets thing. Like, I put in a lot of reps and sets over those 2 years to where I was like, all right, well, I'm not perfect. I'm still not going to be perfect. Even now, 10 years later, I'm not perfect on camera, on this podcast, social media. Like, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. That doesn't exist. But I'm a lot better than I was several years ago. And I will continue to get better because I'm committed to that. And I know it's a fucking art and craft and skill that you have to always be sharp and just polish and get better and better at.
Yeah. And it's just funny, man. Like, I know you're at home right now in Northern California,
Mm-hmm.
and like that room in there, the room in there is still there that we use like as an office when we first started out. And
Oh
I
yeah.
remember, it's funny, guys, like in this room, it's like one of the bigger rooms in our mom's place, but we put like a whiteboard on the wall, and like we even used like an easel board piece of paper, and we put like, the 5 tips on there. I remember one video, I think it's still on YouTube. It's called like 5 ways to get your glutes to salute. If you guys want to look that up, it's hilarious though. Like, we're both trying to fit inside the frame, and you can see a little bit of the closet. You can see a little bit of the window on there. It's so shitty, but it's hilarious. And like, half of like our bodies are in there. The way we're positioned to try to get in there, it looks awkward, and just like, it's just like the way we're talking. I don't know. It's hilarious, guys. But that's what I'm talking about. It's the evolvement. You just get better. You're a constant student. You get better. And then I remember too, man, like in 2017, like when we were Ty Lopez's like $25,000 mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said literally there, like to all of us that were, use your iPhone and stop trying to get so fancy with like these expensive cameras and,
Yep.
and lighting and just like
Yep.
sound and all that. He just said that, like all of his videos that he does, the ones he's gotten the most views and made the most money on are the ones where he just popped his phone up, selfie style, talking directly to the person, relatable, not super polished, not A+ work, literally relatable B+ work. And it's just like, when he told me that, I was like, damn, man, like it's game over now, game over. And that's when we just started going like crazy, just like with like a bunch of just videos like that style, so I don't know, it's a constant game. That's how you have to look at it. You're never going to get to the point where you're satisfied with your content creation or how you're producing it, but it's just reps and sets. Just like with your body, you're never going to be like, man, in the mirror, I'm jacked. Like,
No. And
And
not
just,
even, and a lot of it is just you being in your own head, right? And a lot of it is just ego too, right? So like I said, at the end of the day, it's like every day we are our own worst enemy. We really are. And you know, like I said, if there's one thing that's going to throw us off, it's always going to be us. You know, we're the ones that are going to crumble and sit there and cause that paralysis or that imaginary wall that's quote unquote fear, and
yeah,
not take action like on our goals, ambitions, aspirations, everything, and move the needle forward in our businesses. And that's the thing. It's just as soon as you identify that and just, you know, surrender to that and just say, okay, it is me, right? It is me. It's nobody else. It's not the fact that I'm a perfectionist, that I want things to be perfect. I'm not indecisive. No, it's not. It's not the people in my family that are going to make fun of me. It's not my friends that are going to make fun of me. It's me. And it always has been. It's me that's stopping me from possibly creating greatness, serving others, and just going after my goals, and
yeah.
just never even just like looking back and just having that what if.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm laughing like for the viewers right here. Like I threw water in my hair. Talk about unpolished, right? I didn't want to put product in my hair. So I just threw water in there and like put the comb on it. It's starting to like mess up now. It's looking funny as hell, but now this is good, man. You know, a lot of my energy went towards the beginning of just like going on that rant, you know, so I don't want to reiterate that. You guys go back and listen to that because that was fire right there. And that should pump you up enough to be like, shit, I need to sit down and put this content out. B+ style, stop worrying about the A+ style, stop being selfish, get it out there to the world to help people out. But let's give them some action steps, you know?
Let's do it. So we got 10 good action steps. So I'll start with number one, that we can just kind of go back and forth on them and elaborate if we want to. But the first one is literally, I used to do this all the time, right? When I first started, I was like indecisive and I had that fear of the camera thing. So I just, you know, grabbed my camera. Every phone has a camera roll on it, right? Video. I just popped it up and I just started kind of freestyling, just doing videos, 1 to 2 minute videos on different topics. And then I'd sit there and I'd watch them and I'd be like, oh man, how many ums did I say? How many likes? How many times did I look around? Like, did I look like an idiot? And like, I was just kind of just critiquing myself, right? So you could
Yeah.
do that right now with your phone. You could use Snapchat. You could use stories, right? You don't have to post those things. The whole thing is like you're doing it in real time, 15-second clips. So you're just practicing and getting better and better with that skill. So then when you are ready to put it out there, it'll be repetition. So use your camera, use Snapchat, use stories, and just practice.
Yeah. And then number two is just get like a piece of paper and do like draw a T and then do a T graph. And then on the left side, do lifestyle, the right side, do expertise. And then 20% of your content should be about like lifestyle,
Mhm.
personality, stuff like that, stuff that you're into. And then the right side, expertise, that's where 80% of your content should come in, where it's like you're an expert. Nobody else can do better than what you can do, problems that you solve like within your niche. Okay. So get used to that. Just a T graph. Don't be 100% on one side, 80-20 on each side.
Okay, cool. So the third one is, if you're struggling to, you know, create content, this is an exercise that we take our fitness professional students through, right? So this will bring clarity to help get different ideas on what you can talk about around your brand and services. So it's literally coming up with 3 to 5 pillars around your guys' personal brand or your guys' brand as a business, right? So again, let's use this as an example, right? So let's say like if we were doing training and nutrition, like back when we did that, right? Our 5 pillars was flexible exercise, flexible nutrition, acquiring a mindset, growth mindset, acquiring habits, and then personal development, right? Those were our 5 pillars around fitness coaching. So a lot of our content was always just rotated around those 5 pillars. So
Mhm.
you guys can take like, you know, 5 to 10 minutes and figure out, what do I stand for? What is my, you know, methodology? What's something that I want people to know that I stand by? And just write those pillars out and then start, you know, creating content around that, whether it's pictures or videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one. And then the fourth one is start figuring out what the pain points are and the problems for your avatar and your customer. Okay. So you can do a brain dump on like that on a piece of paper too, pain points and problems. Okay.
Mhm.
And for example, let's just say your avatar or your ideal character is you want to work with maybe like a bartender or something like that. Maybe that's your little niche, working with bartenders. Okay. Figure out what the pain points and the problems are. You know, they're on their feet a lot. Maybe they have to have like strong like forearms. Maybe they have to have like a strong upper body because they're carrying multiple things. Maybe they have to work on their glutes because they're on their feet a lot and they get low back pain, right? Maybe they have to do more feet type of like mobility work and stuff like that. So all pain points and problems. So figure that out for your ideal avatar and your customer.
Yeah, that's good. So number 5 is what we mentioned earlier. Just get a whiteboard or even get like a big easel board paper, right? The ones that you can do like permanent markers on, or the, what is it? The kind of markers are those? Those dry erase ones or something?
Dry erase, yeah.
Yeah, so you could just use whatever that is, like, piece of paper, easel board, or a whiteboard. Put it right there in front of you, like right behind the camera. Bullet point things, right, of your content that you want to talk about, so you're staying on track, you're not getting sloppy, and you execute the video in a good, intentional manner, as opposed to just being all over the place.
Yeah, good. And then number 6, this is called basically like funnel hacking, right? To where it's like follow people on Instagram, and spend about 10 minutes per day, be diligent, about 10 minutes per day being the consumer, not the producer, and just consume like what they're posting on stories and social media, and just get inspiration, model it, right? You don't have to copy it, but just model it and get inspiration. Same thing, listen to podcasts, read books, get the top 25 to 50 books like in your niche, right? So let's say if like you are a nutritionist, right? And your focus is on basically, let's just say, for example, intermittent fasting. So get the top 25 books on intermittent fasting from all those authors, read their books, each chapter, summarize that, and make that into like a video, make that into a social media post, and then
Hmm.
interview those 25 authors right there and get that association by credibility and put that out. And you can produce so much more content from that. If that's a long form video, you can turn it into 5-minute snippets, 1-minute Instagram stories, 1-minute little sizzle reels, everything you possibly think about. So don't be afraid to funnel hack and model different people.
And I like that one because we always do that one. It's one of our go-tos for content creation. So
Exactly.
literally, that's like the gold one that just
Yep.
stands out. But
Yep.
let's go on to number 7. So number 7, you might think this is funny, but it's actually not, because if you don't agree with this and you can't do this, then honestly, I'm going to call you out and say you're full of shit. All you have to do is pick 4 different locations, right? And let's say you only have your home, right? So your home probably has 4 different locations, whether it's like the kitchen, the living room, your bedroom, the bathroom, the garage, the backyard, the front yard. I mean, those are all locations, right? So pick those different locations and do like 4 different videos within those locations. Same thing, what we used to do, right? When we lived, like when we do more content outside, like around Los Angeles, we'd pick 3 to 4 different locations in Los Angeles, like Melrose, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Venice Beach. And we'd spend like an hour in each place and do, a bunch of content, because they're all different views, but they're very visually appealing.
Yep.
So, it's simple. Pick different, visually appealing, backgrounds, environments for scenery, and just film a bunch of videos there.
Exactly. And then kind of to piggyback on that for number 8 is bring different clothes to
Yeah,
change.
exactly.
So like 3 to 4 different locations. Okay, cool. Like, go invest in, like maybe a nice like collared shirt, with your brand logo on there so you can see it on the video. Invest in like a regular t-shirt or something like that to look more casual with your brand on there or something like that. And then just wear something else like freestyle or something like that, like a tank top or whatever it is, but just bring different clothes with you so you can kind of, look like you're in different scenes and you're doing kind of different things on different days. And then also too, I remember like us, man, we went to like Malibu one time, we filmed all day. Like we brought a backpack and like we wore a hat, and then we just kind of like brought like our hair product and
Yeah.
did our hair. We threw on different clothes. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody would ever known that we were there for like the whole day filming content. It looks like we were pretty much like filming content like all different times of like, different points, like within like the year or something like that. You know what I mean? So just make it easier on yourself.
Yeah, hell, I don't even see. Bring some props with you guys. Go to like the 99-cent store. Go to like a Party City or Party America, whatever you have access to. It. Buy some props. Have some fun with it. Just
Yep.
again, it's not that serious. Number 9 is storyboard your videos, right? So this is a really good one. I still do this till today. I have a white piece of paper. I'll draw out like 3 to 5 like little like squares, right? Depending on how many stories I want to do or how long I want the video to be, and I'll just do like a hook, story, and offer, and I'll just do value, value, value in some of those, and that's really it. So I know I'm staying on track with this video, this story, whatever it is that I want to share, on social media for content. And it's just a great way to just sit there and be more intentional.
Exactly. And that leads us to number 10 is what you said is like work on the hook. The hook is it's such an important part, right? That first 1 to 3 seconds, how are you going to hook that viewer so they consume like the next 30 to 60 minutes of the video, or if it's a long form, right? So test out like 3 to 5 different hooks on like one video, and that could be it, right? So for example, a good hook catcher is using props, like Eric said. For example, if I have like a Coke Zero or a LaCroix, I can just sit there and have the camera right there, like me opening it up. That's a hook just right there, right? I can have like a little kind of like something like an animal or something like that. You're walking your dog and you can hook them like that. You can start off with like, hey, let me ask you a question. You can start off with picture this, imagine this, right? It's a hook. So just get really good at the hook. And then the bonus of all these things in kind of a nutshell with all these 10 different things is it's a testing game.
Yep.
Test, 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 and test some more.
And have fun.
Yep.
Have fun. Most importantly, have fun and control social media. Don't let it control you. Be the producer, not the consumer, guys. And just to kind of even wrap this up, like, we've given you all these action steps. I really hope that you guys even just take one of these and put into action. But just more importantly, always remember that your time is valuable, right? So be efficient as possible when creating content to where you don't have to do it every single day. Batch all this stuff up to where it's like you can do a month's worth of content in one single day. If that's 3 hours you have to do in one day, so be it. Take those 3 hours, knock it out, and then you don't have to sit there, get anxiety, and worry about what to post every single day. You have all your content for that month, and then boom, here comes the next month. I got my whole day blocked off for 3 to 5 hours to create all my content for the upcoming month.
Yep. And I'll just leave them with this nice little like ninja thing. Like you said, if you film content in one day, I mean, hire a video editor to do that. And then you can have him edit it. And it's like, let's say you do an hour, like a long form hour video, man, chop that up into like, little like 5-minute videos, put those on Instagram TV, put some on like YouTube, chop them into like 1 or 2-minute videos, put those on like Instagram, standalone, LinkedIn, put the, make 30-second like Instagram stories. I mean, there's so many things you can do to kind of redistribute that and recycle content,
Yeah, absolutely. And then one thing I forgot to mention in this whole thing was that we do have a program for this, right?
Yeah.
It's called Mastering the Game of KLT, which is know, like, trust. That's the whole concept of creating content. You're trying to get people to know, like, and trust you, turn a stranger into a friend, into a buyer. So that is a really, really good program that we have. And it teaches you all about, content creation. We give a lot of scripts, a lot of different, visuals, examples, a lot of overview videos, and it's just a monster of a program. So if you guys are interested in that, we'll put that in the show notes for you guys to invest in and get better at, because it is a skill. And you guys have to understand that if you are business owners and entrepreneurs, that the game of content and social media is not going anywhere. If anything, it's like if you don't start this now and get good at this skill, you're going to be left behind, and you're doing your business a disservice. You're doing your customers and future clients a disservice. And more importantly, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's not that you're a perfectionist or you're indecisive. It's just that you're afraid of taking action and, being criticized. And it's that fear that you have. You're the only person holding yourself back. So guys, I really hope that this entire episode and everything that we brought to the table really, really has, changed your mind, and more importantly, inspired you to go out there and be a fucking awesome content producer and creator. So I think that's it, right, Chris?
That's it, man. That's all I got.
All right, guys. So go out there, live a badass dynamic lifestyle, and create some badass content. Until next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video and another episode on pro tips on living a dynamic lifestyle. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If you're interested in getting more value like this from these pro tips, make sure to subscribe above. We're going to be dropping these daily. Also, if you are a fitness professional and you're looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence, we just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can do all of that. And you can also start building your hybrid training model of in-person and online training. So make sure to click the link or the book right here to grab your guys' copy, and we'll send it over to you. Other than that, we're out. Talk to you soon.